All right, it is a beautiful evening out here. It definitely feels like spring. You would not believe that it was 18 degrees yesterday. I mean, it feels really nice out here today. It's probably close to 60 degrees today. And tonight we're actually gonna come out here. We're gonna cook in our new fire pit. We're gonna cook our supper out here. And after supper, we're gonna cook some campfire apple pies. We used to do this all the time when we were camping. We used to camp every weekend, and we would cook these apple pies all the time. So I went ahead and I split up a few pieces of hickory, and that's what we're gonna cook over tonight. Rebecca loves smoked sausage, and we got some jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage that we're gonna cook tonight for our supper. And then after that, we'll get to the apple pies. But the first thing I need is I need a nice campfire so I can have a nice hot bed of coals to cook our pies over. Well, if I can get this thing to light. I think my torch is starting to go bad, the button's sticking. There we go. So I'm just gonna set a torch in here. Probably use a few pieces of wood to help prop it up. And I'm gonna get this going with a torch. So that way I'm not using lighter fluid or anything. Nobody wants to taste lighter fluid in their food. So there's Scout. He's on the pond dam looking toward the hayfield. I think he's just trying to protect the place. He chased a coyote off 2 days ago. One come down the pond dam and they chased him back to the hayfield. But after the dogs actually got in a fight with the coyotes the other night, they're a little leery. They didn't chase him back to the hayfield, they just chased him away from the house. So if you follow us on Instagram, I showed pictures of the dogs from I think it was last weekend, and they chased coyotes back to the field back behind our house. I mean, I probably walked at least a quarter of a mile to get those dogs back, and they were back there fighting with coyotes. Ever since then, the dogs have been a little leery. So the times it's happened, they have chased them back to our hayfield, but they won't follow them back farther. Because I think what happened was the dogs chased them back away from the house, and then the coyotes ganged up on them. And I had to go out there with the gun, and it took a few times. I ended up just shooting the gun into the dirt just to make a noise. But finally it scared off the coyotes and the dogs came back. And if you saw the pictures on Instagram or Facebook, the dogs were so muddy. After that, they had definitely been rolling and fighting. They had bite marks in several places. We didn't find all the bite marks till probably the next day or two after, because they kept on showing up. So they definitely rolled with the coyotes a week or so ago. So it's taken a couple minutes now, but the fire looks like it's starting to get going. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get a baked potato going as well. I always loved a baked potato in a campfire. That was like a nightly ritual when we were camping. All right, I've got our two sandwich makers basically out here. I want to show you the difference. So right here, this square one, this is what you use to make a sandwich. So if you want like a grilled cheese, grilled ham and cheese, this works perfect for that. This here, the round one, also sometimes called a pudgy pie maker, this is what you want to use to make apple pies. So I've got these out, I've just heated them up just to kind of clean them off a little bit, and we're going to be using this round one to make our apple pies tonight. But first thing we need to do is cook our supper. So along with our smoked sausage, I'm going to go ahead and cook me a baked potato. I went ahead and poked a bunch of holes in it with a fork. I'm just going to wrap this up with some heavy-duty aluminum foil. And twist the ends. So I don't have a bunch of hot coals right now, so I'm just gonna put it beside the fire and then I'll have to turn it. This would work better if we had a bunch of hot coals, but we just started our fire. So tonight is almost a perfect night for a campfire. It is, I just looked, it's 49 degrees outside. The sun is gonna set here in about a half an hour. This is gonna be perfect. I'll tell you what, I'm really happy with the way this fire pit ended up turning out. I'm probably gonna end up doing a different grill grate. This is our old grill grate. I think I'm gonna end up doing one that has like a post on the side so you can change your elevation with a grill grate that hangs over the fire. I may end up making that as a little project for us to do. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my baked potato. It's gonna be really hot on one side. I'm gonna have to keep rotating it. Ideally, I'd have a bunch of coals. Ooh, that's hot. A bunch of coals that I could put around the baked potato and it would cook more evenly. So I'll give you a little bit of time on what today is. Today is the same day that we trimmed the trees this morning, and then Randy and Matt came over and we loaded the chicken coop up on their trailer. And we ended up visiting with those guys, I'd say for at least an hour or more, walking around the property and just visiting. So it's been a fairly relaxing afternoon, and I think this is a perfect ending to the day to be able to come out here, cook over a campfire, and to just enjoy the evening. So we don't get to do that enough. It seems like everything we do out here is work, and we need to try our best to step back and relax a little bit. And that's what we're doing tonight. All right, Rebecca finally showed up with some food. We got our jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage. Then we also have some ham from the pigs that we raised last year. We're gonna grill some of the ham out too. And I think she's got some baked beans for a side. All right, I finally got enough coals that I was able to pretty much surround the baked potato with some hot coals. And we'll just rotate that every 10-15 minutes. And that should take about an hour, maybe a little bit less, and that'll be done. Good thing Rebecca likes hers burnt. Because they're all burnt. I'll tell you what, I leave for a few seconds and this happens. I went inside to get the pie making stuff and then it got away from me. All right, this one right there is just the way you like it. Crispy. No, that one. And that one.
That one looked crispy. It depends on which side.
This one's probably, that one's probably good. I think all of them are crispy. I'll grab the burnt end. I thought I was going to have enough light to film this video, but it's getting dark on us.
Because we lost an hour. Darn time change.
Well, we gained an hour at night. It's almost 7.
It is 7.
Yeah, 7 o'clock. It's late. It's almost bedtime. All right, now to making apple pies. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna put our pie maker in here in the coals, and we're gonna get it hot on both sides. So we'll give it about 30 seconds or more on each side because the coals are very hot right now. So this here is our homemade apple pie filling. So we just need to crack this open, and that's what's gonna be the filling in the pies. And then we need a stick of butter. And the only other thing we need is cinnamon and sugar. All right, I got my hot pie iron. I went ahead and moved to my wooden picnic table so I didn't melt it like that plastic one. So I'm gonna take my stick of butter and I'm just going to melt that inside. You can see it bubbling inside of each one of these pie irons. And that's going to help give the bread a nice crust and also keep it from sticking. So we're going to go ahead and put a piece of bread on each side. And then we're going to fill that piece of bread with our apple pie filling. Just one side. So there we go. That side is filled with apple pie filling. Could squeeze another piece in here maybe. I'm gonna try. All right. So what you do now is we're gonna close this up. Okay. We're gonna make sure that that piece of bread is at the top, and we're gonna clamp that down. Now there's a little latch. There's a little latch back here. We're gonna latch that shut. Now this bread right here on the outside, we're gonna just tear that off. Or use a knife and just scrape it off. And then you give that to the dogs as a treat. All right, our pie is ready to put in the fire. So ideally you want this to sit on some hot coals. I'm just gonna break the fire a little bit here, pull some coals out, and then I'm gonna set that down on some coals. And when it's hot like this, you really only need about 30 seconds on each side. You'll kind of get the feel of it over time. Seems like every time I try to do this, it ends up getting too dark by the time I want to film this. So I just flipped it over. And after about 30 seconds, we're going to check it. And we're looking for a nice toast on the bread. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take this out, and we'll go look at it at the picnic table and see if it's done. Okay, we'll open this up. So that side is toasted and looks done. I need to look at the other side. I'm going to assume it is. There we go. So that's not a perfect toast, but that will do. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on a plate. So there's our apple pie. I'm just going to shake a little bit of cinnamon and sugar on there. I'm going to try. And that'll top it off and make it nice and sweet on the outside like it is on the inside. It's really hard to see here in the light, but there is our apple pie. And we used to do this all the time when we were camping. So I'm over here next to the light, the floodlights on the house, trying to show you guys this. It got a little bit too dark on me, but oh, that is so good. Great apple pie taste. It's got a little bit of a crunchy crust around the outside where it's kind of crimped those two pieces of bread together. Definitely a nice treat while you're camping. So if you haven't done this while you're camping, look for one of these round pie makers. They make excellent pies. You can buy any pie filling at the store. Blueberry pie, cherry pie, apple pie. Find pie filling at the store that's canned and just put it inside, and you can make a perfect pie with it. So this is something also you can have fun with, like with our kids. We used to play around and let them pick what the ingredients were. So you could make it like a s'more apple, like a s'more pie, with chocolate and graham crackers and marshmallows. You could put that on the inside. You could pretty much, peanut butter, like rice, what do I think of? Like the Reese's peanut butter cups, put those on the inside, cut them up, put them on the inside. You can pretty much make anything you want out of these pies, and they turn out fantastic. If you don't want the cinnamon and sugar, you can just sprinkle straight sugar on the outside to make it sweet on the outside. And yeah, you can make many different dessert pies with this thing. It's definitely something to do while you're camping. If you haven't done it, try it out. Well. Good thing Rebecca likes hers burnt.